Welcome to this beautiful day, which is in complete contrast to what I want to talk about, which is my worst travel day ever. And the reason this comes up is because I was filling out an application for a collaboration, and they ask you, what was your worst travel day? So as I'm thinking about it, I'm remembering that it was one of my first ever solo trips or travel. And this is why I just happened to have started affiliating recently with G Adventures because they offer what's called solo-ish travel. And I love that because I truly believe, as much as I love solo adventures, I truly believe that a good group adventure or solo-ish adventure first is the key to starting your travel adventures before going into solo adventures. And I'll include the link to G Adventures below, and it's my affiliate link. So if you do click on anything within that link, it does benefit me. So thank you for that. Um, but this is why I highly recommend not traveling by yourself the first time you travel. So I had to do a visa run. And I was in about the middle of Thailand. I was actually on an island called Koh Tao in the Gulf of Thailand. And I had to do a visa run. So I had to go to Malaysia. And basically, you go to like the embassy or the consulate and you apply for a visa. Not a big deal. And they have these, or at the time, I mean, this was so long ago. At the time, they had like these tours where you could do a visa run with this tour. And I think it only took a day, super quick, in and out. And I had already paid for this tour. The only thing I had to do was get to the mainland. So I booked my ferry, I had this tour paid for, and in the paperwork for this tour, it explicitly says make sure you're at this specific pier. If you're not there, you'll be left. So like make sure you book the right ferry. And I went and I booked the ferry and I even asked like two or three people, does this ferry go to this pier? Because I need to be at this particular pier. And everyone I asked said, yes, you're going to the correct pier. So I'm sure you can already tell where this story is going. I get to the pier and time is just ticking by. I don't see other people there like waiting for this tour transit bus. I don't see like really any taxis. The crowds are starting to thin because, once a ferry drops off, it's like everyone leaves the pier. It's like it's not a place people hang out necessarily. So time's ticking by and fine. And I even think I asked someone like which pier I was at, and I swear they said it was the right, like the pier that matched the pier name that the tour group started from. However, more time went by and the gentleman calls me, "Hey, where are you at?" And I said, "I'm here, I'm at the pier." And he goes, "No, you're not, you're at the wrong pier." And I go, "Are you sure? Because I'm at this pier." And he's like, "Yeah, that's the wrong pier." And the frustrating part is, I swear to you, I double, triple checked that the pier I was on was the pier I was supposed to be at. So I'm super frustrated and I'm starting to panic because he leaves me. He's like, "Well, I can't wait for you. I'm leaving." And I said, "No, please wait. Like, I'll take a taxi. How far is it?" Not possible. So he leaves, and now I'm looking around. There's no taxis. There's literally like no one at this pier. And so one of the uh workers takes pity on me and they ask like, "Where are you going? Are you waiting for someone?" And I said, "No, I need to get into town. um to the train station. And so they end up putting me on this public bus. I'm pretty sure half the workers from the pier were on this bus. And we make about 1 million stops on the way to town. So it took, I want to say, several hours. And we're picking up school children and we're picking up, grandmas and grandpas and like it was just it wasn't like those tour bus coaches. It was a straight up like public bus. So I get to the train station and I have to go to the farthest southern town of Thailand. And they don't have any sleeper cabins left. They don't have any like lay down chairs. Like it was basically you get this seat or you have to do the next day train. And I'm like, I don't want to do the next day train. So I get this seat and I'm thinking, oh, it's not going to be that bad. It'll be like flight seats, right? No, it was bad. I'm pretty sure it was a plastic seat that didn't recline. So you're just sitting upright, and it was an overnight train. So I'm on this train. I'm pretty sure I cried, and I make it all the way to the southern town. I have to take a motorbike to the border crossing. I walk across the border. I take another motorbike to the embassy because now it's the next day, it's the next morning. And I get there, I fill out my visa paperwork. I have everything. Thank goodness I have everything. I was prepared. And I submit all my paperwork, and it's like, okay, now what? And they say, oh, and I'm pretty sure they said something like tomorrow's Ramadan, or it was some sort of holiday. So you can't come back tomorrow. You have to come back the next day. And I'm like, what? Like, no. So, okay, I need to find a hotel and I need food. I think I ate like snacks on the train, but I need a proper meal. So I am wandering around. I finally find a hotel. It's nothing fancy. The rooms were thankfully clean. I don't think I had a window in my room, but whatever. At this point, I'll take whatever I can get. And the best part of this whole story is the woman at the front desk were so kind and so just helpful and generous and they talked to me, they asked me questions, they wanted to know what I was doing, why I was traveling alone, and I got to know them. And these women were Muslims. So, the stories I'd been told about Muslim people were totally contradictory to my actual interaction with these women. It was an incredible experience. So incredible, in fact, that one of them actually asked me to join her and her family at their home and just spend some time with them. And I told her, if my visa's not done tomorrow, I will definitely come with you to your home. And I thought that that invitation was so lovely. And it's such a normal thing in other countries. In other countries, people invite you to their homes. They treat you as their guest. You're like royalty. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing that happens in basically all other parts of the world, I feel like, except the United States. So it was my first experience also having this invitation. Well, the next day comes, my visa's ready. I unfortunately don't go with the woman and stay with her family. In retrospect, I wish I would have actually done that and just postponed my travel back to Koh Tao, but I didn't. So I end up back on the motorbike, crossing the border, back on another motorbike at the train station. I get an actual good ticket. I didn't get a sleeper car, unfortunately, but they still had like the premium seats or whatever they call them. Uh, and the ride back was incredible because this is where I felt so alive. I felt so accomplished. I set out to get my visa and I did it, and I did it all by myself. Yes, I had direction from a friend on like how to get there, but everything else, booking the tickets, taking the train, taking the motorbikes, walking across the border, I did it all by myself. And I felt so empowered. I felt so free. And I felt so joyful. The whole ride back was so joyful because I was trusting myself, and I just kind of surrendered to the moment and the people around me, and the whole experience unfolded exactly as it was meant to. And this is how I caution people against solo travel in the beginning, only because it was super stressful. I was very overwhelmed. And I feel like I was very fortunate to be in, how do I say this? I was very fortunate in that I paid attention to my surroundings. I was very aware of where I was going, asking questions. I was I was very kind to people, and in turn they were very kind to me. And one piece of advice someone gave me, just smile a lot. And I swear in Asia, just smiling, people, you could see them walking down the street just with their normal, face, and you smile at them and it's like their whole face brightens. So just smiling at people, I swear, is a game changer. But this is definitely one of those situations. I was very fortunate. However, I caution against solo trips as your first travel because so many things went sideways already. However, so many more things could have gone sideways had I not been as fortunate as I was. And on a small timeline, right? This was just a few days of time where it's not like I planned a week long or a month long solo trip. So I only had a small time window for everything to go sideways, and thankfully only the first part of the trip went sideways. So yeah, if you're interested in travel, I offer travel consults through my Stan store. I'll put the link in my description as well for that. And I will put the G Adventures affiliate link because I'm telling you, like the trips they offer and the ability to either do group trips or solo-ish adventures is huge. And I highly, highly recommend checking them out for your next trip. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.